operations were running on the network. The next day, Sony shut down its network. Users could not log on but did not know why. April 23rd, Sony was able to, quote, confirm an intruder obtained illegal access and for the first time realized the intruder was a hacker. It wasn't until 2 days later that Sony says it was able to, quote, confirm stolen personal information, including names, addresses, email addresses, dates of birth, passwords, and network IDs. Sony wasn't sure if credit card information was breached, and it couldn't identify exactly whose information was stolen. April 26th, for the first time, Sony reported the security breach to Japan's government. April 27th, 2 days after they knew a lot of information was taken, Sony began emailing customers and posted on its website that accounts had been compromised. On May 1st, Sony held its first news conference. Sony executive Kazuo Hirai downplayed the attack, only calling it, quote, a possibility. As for the personal information that might have been taken, we are still talking about a possibility. We are still investigating exactly what data and to what extent it was taken. Now, 8 weeks later, Sony will still not speak to CNN on camera. But in a statement emailed to CNN, Sony says, we believe we have notified the public promptly after reporting it to the government. Sony says in the government document that it was concerned that releasing information before it was fully analyzed would confuse the consumer.
The right people, people who could possibly be affected by those threats, need to be notified immediately so that they can take steps to protect their own identities.
Internet security expert Mohan Koo has no direct knowledge of Sony's internal breach, but he believes Sony's public delay should concern consumers.
We're not just talking about the importance of financial data. Anybody's personal data and any small amount of personal data is valuable on the black market.
Security experts say increasingly it's a game of cat and mouse. Your information versus the hackers and companies standing in the middle. No organization can protect itself 100%, but consumers are not helpless. Before sharing your information, consider the stakes. What would happen if a thief could read what you're typing? Kyung Law, CNN, Tokyo.
Well, Sony's share price has been dealt a 1-2 punch by the March earthquake and then by the huge data breach in April. That loss last month was Sony's biggest annual net loss in some 16 years, and the company has forecast a plunge in profits this fiscal year ahead. All in all, Sony shares have now plunged more than 20% in 3 months.